What's up, everyone? Metroid Prime Fan 18 here, and I'm going to I'll go ahead and finish my Doom series review, and the next game in the list is Doom 3, and the only version I have is the Xbox, so that's the version I'm going to base this on, though both versions are practically the same. Doom 3 was pretty well received by critics and everyone when it first came out. Some people said that this game didn't really feel like Doom. It was too dark. It was too whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't nitpick about games that much. But it did receive pretty good ratings, and I thought it was a good game. I thought it was amazing. I mean, graphically it was good. Well, pretty good. I mean, graphically it was good. Gameplay I thought was good. Story was pretty good. There are a few complaints I have with it, of course, but we'll get on with it. Doom 3 is, even though it's called Doom 3, it's not a sequel to Doom 2 according to the makers of the game, but I still think of it as one. Or a sequel to Doom 64 or whatever, since it was the Doom game before this one, I think. Whatever. Doom 3, however you want to put it, that's how it is, I guess. But in this game, you are still in the UAC, and you are still playing as a Marine, only this time you're not really dressed as a Space Marine. Like, you don't have the helmet, you're just in a suit. And you learn about the whole buzz around the UAC currently at the time your character, who's unnamed by the way, you don't know his name, by the time your character comes in, the whole big thing at the UAC is this teleportation project that the main researcher named Dr. What was his first name? I forgot what his first name was. It was Dr. Betruger. And Dr. Betruger is this really creepy looking old guy who you eventually find out is the main enemy. But he's like, you think he's nice at first, even though he's really, really creepy, but he's actually a villain. But he wasn't always like that. The teleportation project and his first entry into Hell, which is where you find out eventually that the teleporter that he was building led to, he just started changing. I mean, he looked and sounded the same apparently, but he was just changing. That's when his whole evilness stage started. But anyway, you start off, you go around, you get your PDA, which is used for just collecting other PDAs, getting access codes, whatever. And your first goal is going after this scientist, Dr. Ishii, Jonathan Ishii, who is stuck in some old comm building, and he is trying to get the message out about Betruger and the teleportation experiment gone wrong. Now, this experiment is taking place in a deep part of the UAC on Mars called the Delta Labs. And the Delta Labs is where pretty much everyone down in the Delta Labs already knows that something is going horribly wrong and Betruger's changed, but no one else around the base knows that. And he's trying to get the message out, but before he can, the system just goes insane. The inhibitors on the teleporter just break off, and literally all hell breaks loose in the base. And so from there, you're just going down the base, you're going through multiple levels, you're trying to find your way to the Delta Labs eventually, and you have to actually go into Hell again. It is Doom after all. What's Doom without actually going into Hell? And there's only 3 levels that are actually in Hell. The whole point of Hell is to get through and defeat the Guardian boss, who's the second boss of the game. And you're trying to find out more about Betruger, but he pretty much announces what he's doing. He's trying to send... Well, before you actually go into Hell, one of the things you had to do was... one of your objectives was to call the Earth Fleet to come and help with the situation, and then this other guy, what was his name? Counselor Swan, is saying... When you're about to make your decision, he comes on screen and says, no, don't call them. They're just going to be used for, Betruger's going to use them to stalk the demons on it, and they're going to invade Earth, whatever. And then you go to the next level, and despite what your decision was, Betruger says he's just going to call them himself. So even if you refuse to, he still calls them himself, so it really makes no difference. And that's his main goal, is to get the demons onto the Earth Fleet ships to send them back to Earth and invade the Earth, and you have to stop that. But that's enough about the story. Let's get on with gameplay. Gameplay is good. It's a lot more horror based. It's not just straight run and gun either. I mean, this is the first Doom I play that's not a run and gun game. You actually do have to take some tactics. It's not too tactical, but it's not just completely run and gun either. Difficulty's not too bad until you get to Nightmare again. Now, enemies don't come back to life, but here's what I really hate about Nightmare. Every, 7 seconds, I think, 5 points from your armor and health go down by 5 points. And your health will go down until it reaches 30, and then it goes no lower. However, because of that, you have the Soul Cube, which is an artifact, and under other difficulties you don't get until after you beat the Guardian of Hell. It's a weapon that's activated after you kill 5 other enemies, and you can actually use it, and it deals 1,000 points of damage, so it's kind of like HP system, and it transfers the enemy's health back to you. That's the reason you have, and for Nightmare you have it right at the beginning because you constantly lose health no matter what you're doing. I mean, you could be walking down a quiet hallway and you're losing health and armor, so you basically have to just sprint the whole way. Enemies, they did keep a huge variety of enemies from the original Doom games. The Hell Knights are in this game, but the Barons of Hell aren't. Mancubuses, the Revenant Archviles, they're in the game. Imps are in the game. Nightmare Imps aren't in the game, but they were only a one-time appearance. They have instead of zombie men and shotgun guys and heavy weapon dudes, they're all just called Z-Sec zombies, which they used to be called ImSec from Marsec, but now I'm guessing Z means zombies because that's basically what they've been turned into. And they carry pistols, shotguns, and machine guns. And there's also new enemies too. There's like these Trites and Ticks, which are both spidery enemies that explode if they get close to you. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes they don't. They're kind of unpredictable. There's the bosses. Then the final boss of the game, the biggest boss, is the Cyber Demon. And the only way to kill him is using the Soul Cube. And so gameplay-wise, it's pretty good. I mean, you explore different sections of the UAC base. You eventually go down to these dark caverns, which is where they first located another portal that was created by the demons themselves. And where it's actually where you face the Cyber Demon. It's called the Hell Gate, and it's a manifestation of hell on Mars. So it's like a half hell, kind of. And so, I mean, you go along, you're collecting weapons. It's the same concept, basically, but you got to do some other objectives. Find keys, move stuff. It's not hard to do, really. But you do still have the chainsaw on the BFG, so that's good. The complaints I had about this game, it is too dark, even for the flashlight. Flashlight's another thing. It's a useful tool, and you can actually strike enemies with it. Problem is, thank God they corrected this in Resurrection of Evil, but in the original Doom 3, the flashlight was just by itself. You couldn't carry a gun with it. In Resurrection of Evil, your pistol had a little flashlight attachment to it. But in this game, you had to like suddenly switch between two weapons, and it did get kind of annoying, especially if the hall is just crammed with enemies. Some of them being very tough enemies. But aside from the whole darkness factor, it's pretty good lengthwise. It's not too short, not too long, in my opinion. I do hate that Nightmare, they just constantly take your health down. At least have a longer interval than 7 seconds. Make it at least 10. I don't know. I haven't played Nightmare on there, and because of that fact, I may eventually, I don't know. But those are just my main complaints with it. But overall, this is a good game, I think. And it's like that's it. And I don't know if both versions of this game have this, and by both versions I mean the regular and the limited collector's edition. I have the limited collector's edition. That's the one that has Doom and Doom 2 and all that stuff on it. I don't know if the original does, but Resurrection of Evil only has one version. It has all those plus the master levels, but that's my next one. So overall, I give Doom 3 an 8.7 out of 10. Darkness can kind of kill it, and the flashlight by itself does kind of take some points off for it. So, but it's still a good game to get. It is kind of challenging, but not too hard. And that completes part 4 out of my 5-part Doom series review. And my next and last one will be Resurrection of Evil, also for the Xbox. And with that, Metroid signing off.